Hey everybody. I feel like I need to make this video because I need to clarify some things. So I'm going to try to make this quick and compressed, but get you all of my thoughts. So it may be a little bit short, but I don't want it to drag on like 20 minutes. So I feel like I need to clarify some stuff about the JBL speakers, the Studio 500 line. So I feel like people may think that I'm a JBL fanboy or I'm just in love with these speakers and I think that they're the best or whatever. So it's not true. I do have this line, but it's because I started off buying the 590s and then and had no plans of buying more. But maybe like, I don't know, a year or two later, I decided to start expanding. And of course, I'll use the same speakers that I'm already using, right? The same line of speakers. So I got, I think, the 570s for the rear, and then I got the surrounds in the center, and went from there. So it was never my intention to go full surround sound. Even though I loved surround sound, I had done it at my parents' house when I lived with them back in the day. Projector setup. I did the surround. I got all my speakers from like Goodwill and garage sales. Just buying one cheap ones I could afford. Like $20, $60. I got what I could. So these are my first pair of like good speakers, right? I spent $1,000, a lot of money. I know it's not a lot in the grand scheme of audio, but for me, that's a decent amount of money. So the thing is, there are some issues with these speakers, and I want you guys to know about them. Because I'm not here to try to sell you these speakers. I wanted to originally. I started uploading these videos because when I started looking online for information about the other speakers like the 570s, the 530s, the 520C, the subwoofers, there was very little information, at least that I could find. Everybody would talk about buying them. Oh yes, you should get those speakers. They're great price, great bang for the buck. The problem was I didn't find a lot of information talking about integrating as a whole surround sound setup. I did find some videos, of course, after I bought the 520C. Then all the videos showed up, or not videos, all the forum posts showed up with people complaining about them. But I guess there wasn't that many. There's a few. But anyways, I wanted to document and put out there my experience with these speakers and how it went doing each upgrade, because I didn't see a lot of information out there for people. So I was trying to fill the void, right? And I had made some, videos of other stuff in the past on my YouTube channel talking about like, oh, this hard drive, this external hard drive, it's soldered to the USB controller, soldered to the drive, so you can't unplug it, things like that. Or whatever. I think I was going to make one about a switch, a 24 port switch. Anyways, just because I couldn't find anything about it. So I was putting this out there as informational. I'm not, I didn't plan on, and I don't consider myself to be a know-it-all and an audio guru or whatever. I'm just some dude who does like audio, is interested in audio, but has these speakers and wants to help other people with managing them or buying them, right? Get that information out there. So there's really two issues, but I'll say three, about with these speakers that you should know. The number one that I think most people should know is that there's not a good center channel. There's the 520C. I don't like it, as most of you probably figured out from watching my other videos. It's too small. It doesn't match the 590s. If you have the 530s or 570s, they have a smaller horn, and so I think the 520 will match it closer. I'm sorry, I have not tested it yet. I've got 570s and 530s and the 520 in the other room. I've just been too busy to do it. When I get home from work, I just want to chill for a minute. I have not spent my time setting up that system to compare them. I even just had someone ask me today if the 520 will match the 530s. I'm sorry, I haven't done it yet. It's been on my to-do list. I got too much stuff going on right now. So, so if you're building a surround sound system and you're not okay with this, which I don't like, I just deal with it. Get a different brand of speaker. Get something else that has a matching center, sounds good, performs well, great. If you're running just stereo, say you just want a stereo setup and you're probably going to be just one person sitting here, in the main listening position, good speakers, I'd say yes, go for it. But this leads into my issue number 2. I'm not sure how many people know about this, especially I think it tends to be people who don't know as much or are new to audio. Horn loaded speakers, so these guys here, they typically are very directional. So what that means is when you're on axis like this, they perform, how they perform. And then as you move this way and, the other way, it starts to roll off. And they typically roll off faster and differently than some other speakers, maybe like a dome tweeter with a little waveguide, say like the Arendals. So that speaker has a pretty decent off-axis response. So the issue is when you're here, great, solid center image. When you start to move here, even in between seats, that center image starts to disappear and you start to hear just sound, right? You can correct it a little bit by over-towing it. So instead of pointing here, you can point it here. And then the left one, you can point to the right. I think it's called time intensity trading. You can look that up. But yeah, basically you just cross them, right? And that does help. And when I sat here, I could actually still see a center image. Now, the issue is when you're in a wide room like my setup, right? I've got this wide setup. It's a little harder and you start to, when you over tow it, now over here, you're pretty far off axis. When you're sitting here, that speaker, you're really far off axis, like 45 degrees. So it makes it worse. So that is why I ended up pointing everything here still. Now, if my room was longer, like some people I've seen, it would be less of an issue because the speaker is only going to be turning a lesser degree. So the off axis over here is not going to be as far. Instead of 45 degrees, it may be 25 or 30, so not as far off. So for home theater, if you got a wide setup, I'd probably not recommend it. And really, I probably wouldn't recommend them too strongly because of that poor off-axis response. Now, I knew about it before I continued, as I bought the other speakers. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with selling my speakers and then trying to go find another line. These are such a great deal. I'll just deal with it. And part of me regrets that a little bit. But when it comes to movies, your center channel, everything that's mostly everything that's in the center happens at the center channel. So it's less of an issue. I have more of an issue when I have like a friend over and we're listening to music. I just say, okay, sit here and then I'll sit here or whatever, I can listen to it later. So I want them to have the sweet spot. So it's less of an issue with home theater, Dolby Atmos, etc. Just more of an issue with stereo content. So the next issue is 3. This one may be an issue for people, but these speakers are big. They are really big. They are deep. So, that's my arm. It's longer than my elbow. So they're pretty dang deep. So that means that they got to be further off the wall, but they're still going to be closer to the wall than, say, a speaker that's not as deep. And they're just massive. You had to have space. Really, the 590s are really too big to be these front wides, but I wanted them all to match, so I just did it. When I had the 530s up there testing, they were further to the side. So anyways, I wanted people to know that I'm not out here trying to, hustle these speakers. It's just what I have, and I've been trying to document for people out there my experience with the upgrades and how they sound, etc., because I felt like there was a lack of it. So, I'm sticking with these speakers. Obviously, I've invested thousands. They are cheap, comparatively. They are cheap. They go down for like $450. They've been hitting. I'm not sure how much longer they're available. These were hitting $350 each, and then $200 each. And then the 530s hit $240. That's the cheapest I've seen them. And the 200 for the 570s. So, still a good deal. But I just want people to know the downsides to these speakers. And every speaker has a downside, right? Well, most. But especially this price range, you usually have to pick and choose what your issue is going to be. And so I want people to be well informed. And so that's why I'm telling you this. Eventually I will upgrade speakers. Hopefully. But it's not going to be for a while. I'm going to keep these for a while. I love the sound. I mean, they sound great. It's just the off-axis performance and the center channel do put a damper on things, I'll say. Normally during movies, it's not as much an issue. It's normally during just 2-channel music playback. So anyways, guys, I hope, people don't get upset if they chose these speakers because of me and then they're upset about it or something, Hey, I'm sorry. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and I do like them. I think I might end up putting the other ones I have in at my parents' house. And as you can see, actually, for those of you who don't know, I mean, there's the 570s and 530s. And then I bought these Yamos, which I was going to do a review on. It was the 809 set, 5.1 set, and you can get the Atmos Bouncy House speakers, which are on order. Issue with these it was like $450 for the sub and all 5 of those. Issue is they have a major treble increase. I don't actually recommend this unless you have an amp that can flatten, like with a DSP that can flatten that treble, because they are too bright. I measured a 13 decibel difference from the dip all the way to the highest rise. So anyways, I just want to let you guys know what's going on, and hopefully clear up some stuff for you. All right, thanks guys, see you later.